So today we're going to plant one of my favorite vegetables. It's right here in the propagation tunnel, ready to go. I look right here behind me. I've already planted a few of them, and that's squash. Squash is loaded with so many different vitamins, so good for you, and I love the taste. So let's go out, get started, show you exactly how we do it here at Whirlwind Family Farm. So let's go ahead and show you how we prep these beds and what we planted that squash into. And I've already started a little bit. I've got 7 of them in the ground already. So we'll pick it up right where we left off. But the first thing I'll tell you is that you're probably going to be doing this in a much smaller setting than me. It may be a smaller backyard setting, or you may be in a market garden like us. But most cases, if you're following this channel, you're probably just doing it on a smaller scale. So we're going to make this as simple as possible. And one of the things we do is, first of all, we've got to make sure and get all the weeds removed off of these beds that may have grown out here during the fall or the winter time. Now, I'm big on, I will actually let those weeds grow in certain spots through the fall and winter. Some people think I'm crazy for doing that, but I always say it's better to have something growing than to have bare soil. As much as we can, we'll put down a cover crop. But in these beds right here, we had a few cover crops and we had some that were open, and what we had was weeds came in. So what I do is I come in, remove those weeds because now we don't want them there, taking up moisture, taking up any nutrients. So I just come in with my little stirrup hoe that I bought at Johnny's. There's different retailers that do carry these. I do recommend them if you have a garden. They have that oscillation motion where you can go forward or backward, and they are absolutely fantastic for removing weeds. Both of these rows right here, 50-foot rows, took me, gosh, I bet it took 10 minutes tops to be able to get the weeds out and get it ready. The next thing I do is I put down my paracord. I'll put down this paracord to delineate these rows. I have wooden stakes at the end. If you look right here, I have some 50-foot paracord with bungee attached. The left side I've already taken up, but if we walk right down here, you'll see that I use these wooden stakes, and I leave myself about a foot right in between these two. That's where our walking path is. And then we have a stake here, and 30 inches over there we have another stake. So that's where I put down my paracord. It just keeps things nice and measured and straight, and we know exactly where the rows are at. So we've removed those weeds with our stirrup hoe, got that all done. The next thing I do, we'll come in with our little broad fork, which is about 30 inches wide. And the reason we will use a broad fork is if I detect there's some compaction in that soil, and I don't always use it. If the soil is nice, loose, and has where I can put my finger down there 5 or 6 inches, I'm not going to broad fork it. But I did detect a little bit of compaction here today, so I did come in. Again, both of these rows took me 15-20 minutes to come in with the broad fork. And the reason I use a broad fork and say not a rotiller or a plow of any kind, because as we talk about here in this no-till system, we don't want to take that soil, flip it over, dry it out. And when you do that, you kill those very important micronutrients. So that's why we use the broad fork in our system out here. And it's simple to use and it's quick to use. Okay, that's the second thing. Got rid of our weeds, got broad forked, and then we're going to come in and I'll just use a simple everyday little garden rake right here to go in and smooth out that soil. I just come down through there. That again takes me maybe 10 minutes just to go in and keep it smooth. And it doesn't have to be that smooth. As long as it's nice and level, that's the beauty of when you're transplanting in, you're taking out these bigger plants, transplanting them into the soil. It's different than if you're coming in and seeding or using a seeder like an earthway seeder. You're probably not going to use a Jang seeder. Jang seeders tend to be used on bigger operations, but those seeders require a very smooth, level surface so they have a good, even planting and the seeds are going exactly the depth that they should. But when you're transplanting, you don't have to do that. So we get it smoothed out with the rake, and that's a simple thing to do. Okay, that's how we prepped our beds. Nothing big, nothing difficult. This whole thing took me a little over an hour for these 2 beds. Oh, and I'll mention the last thing. If you notice, we are using drip lines. And our philosophy is the reason that we use drip lines here at Whirlwind Family Farm is really twofold. First of all is it uses far less water. And out here in Central Texas in this hill country, our wells get taxed enough as it is. We don't want to pull too much water out. So it saves hundreds of gallons every single week by using drip lines. And it's getting the water exactly to the base of that plant, right where the roots are. If you use an overhead system, you are using more water, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you like using overhead water, by all means, please do that. But for us, it's going to use more water, and the water is being sprayed everywhere in an overhead system. If you look here behind me, that's a 1-foot walking path. And if I use an overhead sprinkler, water is getting sprayed everywhere, including these walking paths. And that just waters weeds and brings them back into areas where I don't want them to be. So that's why we use drip lines. You can see those are 12 inches apart. Those emitters have been turned on this morning, so these beds are prepped and ready to go to plant. So let's go ahead and get some squash in the ground. And again, it's one of my favorite things to plant. So let's get started. Okay, let's go ahead and get one of these squash in the ground. And the first thing you want to do is make sure you have the right spacing. And I always say that spacing is important in any of the plants, because if you get squash too close together, they really like to crawl, they really like to spread. And I would say, for my opinion over doing these in the years, I would say a minimum of 24 inches. So what I've done, I've got a little piece of bamboo here that I have marked off at 24 inches. I just lay it at the base of the plant in front of me, the squash that was just planted, come out about 24 inches, and you can even go out further. It's certainly not going to hurt to space these out every bit of 3 feet, because again, they will go out, spread out, they'll grow in many different directions. And another thing, by not planting them as close, you're going to lessen the chance of powdery mildew, which is one of those things that can really hurt and hurt your harvest and your crop of squash. So let's go ahead, plant our first one here. We've got our wind strip tray, and again, the nice thing about these wind strip trays, I can just take my finger, push right in the bottom, and you can see there how well those roots are, how nice size, what nice size that plant is. So let's go ahead and get it snug in the ground. And we have these 2 little bottom leaves right here. We want to make sure we're planting all the way up to there. So I've got my 24 inches measured. I'm going to come in, make sure I've got that hole deep enough, drop it down in there just simply like that, start raking in the dirt, easy around it so we get it in tight or nice and snug around those roots. And just like that, you've got your squash planted. So what we're going to do is we're going to work our way down this. We're going to end up with about 30 of these. And again, in a small garden, you may be planting 5, 10 of these. It's going to take you no more than 35 minutes, 30 minutes to be able to do that once you get your bed set. So it's an easy thing to do. So there you go. Now you can see how we planted our squash. It's a very simple process. You can see I've already got about 10 plants that are put down. This whole thing did not take a lot of time, even on this larger scale. And that's the beauty of a small backyard garden, is it's not going to take a lot of time. The watering will be simple, whether you hand water or you put down a soaker hose, or even if you top water. I always say with squash, be careful on those leaves. You don't want to get them too wet because you want to avoid powdery mildew as much as possible. So soaker hose may be the way to go. I will tell you, again, squash is one of my favorite vegetables out there. My wife, she sautés it, fries it raw, put it in salads, fried, however you prepare it, it is excellent. And go ahead, go into Google, do a quick search in your search engine. Look at all the vitamins and minerals that come along with squash. I believe it's vitamin A, C, B6, so it's really good for you as well. Guys, it's simple. We know that you'll do well with your squash this year. Give it a try. It's one of those things that it's going to last. You're going to get a couple of months out of it. It's going to produce a lot of different. The more you harvest, the better chance it will have of producing more. And just give it a try. Guys, thanks again. It means so much to our channel when you like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. And YouTube will always suggest another video right over here that's ours. Check it out. We know you're going to like it. Guys, blessings over you, your family, your garden, and good luck with your squash this year. We know you're going to do great. Talk to you soon from Whirlwind Family Farm.